Hello and welcome into today's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hicks, and I am your lead beat writer for the Arizona State Sun Devils on SI. And we are coming off of a fresh 42-10 drubbing of the Arizona State Sun Devils at the hands of the Utah Utes on Saturday night. And it was a rough game for the Sun Devils all around. The final score can tell you that at the surface, but beyond the surface, Arizona State held the time of possession battle. They got relatively good field position cutouts for them. I mean, as good as they could have imagined, and Utah just ran all over them. Jeff Sims did not find a rhythm all night long. The rushing offense had its worst performance of the season, likely its worst rushing performance of the season. And Sam Levitt's absence looms large. Some potential other injury news looms large for the Sun Devils. And it looks like what I said in my story on ASU on SI the other day, that the season is at a crossroads right now, is coming to fruition. It's do or die time for Arizona State and their hopes of repeating as Big 12 champions. Obviously, they are bound to make a bowl game. I would be very, very remiss to see them lose a game to a team like West Virginia, to a team like Colorado, to even Houston. I still think an eight or nine win season is in the cards, even with unfortunate health and other factors. But the Big 12 title looks less and less likely at this moment, especially considering the upcoming matchup that is the Texas Tech Red Raiders, a top 10 team in the country that just absolutely bashed Kansas. Kansas made that game close for a little while, but Texas Tech's rushing attack was too much. Texas Tech does have concerns as well, as quarterback Baron Morton left the Saturday game with an injury, just like he did against Utah the 2 weeks prior. So Will Hammond could be starting, but it's not looking phenomenal for the Sun Devils at the moment. And I will talk about why, and I'll talk about what they can do moving forward to really improve their fortunes in terms of the Big 12 title picture. And that's what I'm going to start with. So, not only did Kenny Dillingham say that Sam Levitt's injury is a week to week proposition, which doesn't make it sound too promising for his status against Texas Tech at the moment. He did say we'll check him out on Sunday and Monday and then go from there later in the week. But he did sound hopeful. It just doesn't, hopefulness doesn't equate to certainness. So, we'll see what happens with Levitt. But even beyond Levitt, Ben Coleman got hurt on Saturday night. Miles Ghost Rouser got hurt on Saturday night. Adrian Boogie Wilson got hurt on Saturday night. So your starting left guard, who began the season at center, played the first 5 games at center, and then moved back to his natural spot of left guard so Wade Helton could take over. He gets hurt in his first game back at left guard, and it sounds, as according to Dillingham, that he might be out for an extended period of time, as it does sound that way for Rouser and Wilson as well. And particularly in the case of the safeties, that puts an extreme strain on the Sun Devil secondary. Keith Abney and Javen Robinson are really the only things holding it together to this point. Kendrick Breedlove has played pretty well, but it's looking bleak at the safety spots, as Xavier Alford has been out for around a month now due to an unspecified injury. So your top 3 safeties probably out of commission for the Texas Tech game. You're probably looking at Jack Bowell taking major snaps in first team at practice this week. You're probably looking at possibly even moving a Nyland Green or a Montana Warren to safety to fill the void that's going to be created in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long it is that all three are out for. But it's going to be a challenge nonetheless, but now it's even substantially more challenging. for Brian Ward's unit. And as for the offensive line group, Himeto Obigbo has been actually very reliable at left guard for the Sun Devils this season. I believe he grades out with over a 70 grade according to Pro Football Focus so far. But Ben Coleman was the heart and soul of the offensive line. He's the leader. He's probably the biggest stabilizing force. I'd say Max is probably the most talented, most physically gifted, but Coleman is as steady as they come, and him being out is not a great thing against the Texas Tech defensive line that not only is probably the best in the Big 12, it's probably one of the best in the entire country. Texas Tech has a major opportunity to take advantage of a weakened Arizona State offensive line and the possibility that Sam Levitt is out once again. Even if Levitt is playing, he's playing behind an offensive line that hasn't had much experience playing together, and it could get very, very tasking. It could test the limits of the Arizona State offense and Sam Levitt's ability to play through an injury such as the one that he's suffering through right now, which appears to be a foot. What can Arizona State do to defeat Texas Tech to stay inside of the confines of the inner circle of Big 12 contenders? It's not going to be easy, but Kenny Dillingham and his staff does have a coaching advantage over Texas Tech. I think that is pretty definitive from any angle that you look at. I have a lot of respect for Joey McGuire, but I just do not think that him or his staff is quite as good or accomplished as Kenny Dillingham's. You got to tap into your run game. Kansas and other teams that Texas Tech has played do not have as potent of run games as Arizona State, although they did really contain Utah's run game. But Raleek Brown has potential to have a big game against Texas Tech. Even Kanye Udo, if Jeff Sims is factoring into that game, he's obviously somebody that you got to prepare for. But the run game, the field position battle, the turnover battle, coaching, all that stuff will matter against Texas Tech, even if they do have the talent advantage, especially with all injuries considered at the moment. And you are also looking at home field advantage. That's something that you really can't turn a blind eye to. That's really all I have for that game. But moving forward in Big 12 play, I think that they have to win out to reach the Big 12 title game once again. Because if you not only lose to Utah, but you lose to Texas Tech, you lose to the two teams that are setting themselves up to have the best advantage to reach Arlington in December. Especially in the case of Utah, if they take care of business against BYU, they're the clear-cut number 2 team in the conference. I think that everybody has resigned to the fact that Texas Tech is going to be playing in Arlington, barring a major collapse. But they have set themselves up beautifully so far, and a win over Arizona State only solidifies that. They are looking like a team that could not only compete in the playoffs, but win a game or two in the college football playoffs. So I think Arizona State's best shot into the Big 12 title game is defeating Texas Tech, winning out. And if they win out with a win against Texas Tech, there's a chance that they are the number 1 seed in the title game. They are the team at the top of the standings. That's going to be easier said than done. If they lose to Texas Tech, they lose the tiebreaker to the 2 best teams in the conference at the moment, and the paths just dim significantly. Obviously, they'd have to take care of business after that, just take care of what's in front of them. You have Houston, Iowa State, West Virginia, Colorado, and Arizona. All 5 games that you can win, that a win is actually even conceivable with Jeff Sims at quarterback. So the paths with a loss to Texas Tech are not nearly as open or achievable, but Arizona State still has to fight through. They have to control their own destiny and never count out Kenny Dillingham after what he did last season and what he's done over the last 3 seasons in the post as head coach. Thank you so much for tuning in to Sunday's edition of the Sun Devil Insider podcast. And I hope you enjoy this when this drops tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you with another episode tomorrow.